Hi, this is Gary Woods, and welcome to Santa Barbara Real Estate Talk for Saturday, February 21st, 2015. Day with a time period from January 1st out to February 7th. And look at what I call the gap report, the difference in what people would like to get for their home and what they are currently receiving for that home. Starting out there in Carpinteria, Summerland, we see sales are doing really well for homes. Went from 3 to 6, and that median sales price, went from $840,000 to $1,042,000. Big bounce there. And that gap, they'd like to get $1.424 million. They're getting $1,042. That gap, about 27%. Like condo sales also up, went from 3 to 5 this year, and that median sales price went down, went from $670 last year to $552. And that gap, $525 they'd like to get, $552 they're getting. What do we got? We got no gap at all. We got a 5.1 over what the asking price is at this point. Looking at Montecito single-family dwellings, sales are down, went from 18 to 13 this year. Median sales price went up a bunch, went from $2.112 million to $5.63 million. And that gap, they'd like to get $4.95 million. They're getting $5.63 gap. There is no gap. 13.7% over what the asking price was. Looking now at condos, only 3 sales this year, none for last year. Those 3 have a median sales price of $1.55 million, and that gap, 1.475 is the median list, 1.550 is the sales, 5.1% over the asking. Looking now at east of State Street. East of State Street sales down pretty significantly. It went from 26 last year to 18. And that median sales price is up a little bit from 1.112 to 1.157 for a 4% rise. And that gap, 1.52, they'd like to get 1.117, they're getting 23.8% gap right there east side of Santa Barbara for single-family homes. We look at condos now. Condo sales up by 2, went from 7 to 9. Median sales price went down, went from $659 to $5.25. And that gap, $599 they'd like to get, $5.25 they are getting, 12.4% gap there for east of State Street condos. Looking at the west side now, sales are down by 2, went from 22 to 20. Median sales price also down, went from $1,055,000 to $913,000. And that gap, $1.1 million they'd like to get, $913 they're getting. That gap, 17%. Looking at condos on the west side, sales are up a lot. Went from 3 to 8 this year. Median sales price up a little. Went from $750 to $757. And that gap, $747 they'd like to get. $757 they're getting. Hardly any gap at all. Nope, 1.4% over what the asking price is. Going out to Hope Ranch, 2 sales last year, 3 sales this year. The median sales price last year, $4.537. This year, $2.95. And that gap, they'd like to get $5.2 million. They're getting $2.95. That gap, 43%. Going now to Goleta South. Goleta South, sales up by 1, went from 6 to 7. Median sales price went up, went from $690 to $742. And that gap, $827 is what they'd like to get, $742 they're getting, gap 10%. Looking at condos, Goleta South, sales are down, went from 5 to 2. Median went up a bunch, went from $445 to $876. And that gap, they like to get $660, they're getting $876. Gap, what gap? 32% above what the asking price is. And finishing up with Goleta North, single-family homes. Sales are up from 8 to 11. Median sales price down a little bit, went from $784 to $780. And that gap, $964 they'd like to get, $780 they're getting. That gap, no gap at all. There it is. The condos. Condo sales down by 2, went from 4 to 2. Median sales price went up, went from $427 to $530. And the gap, $454. Median list, $530 that. Median sold price, gap, no gap at all, 16.7% up. Well, that's it for Santa Barbara Real Estate Talk for Saturday, February 21st, 2015. I am Gary Woods. And if you'd like to give me a call at the show, I can be reached at 805-729-0910. Thanks for listening.